3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Welcome to Self-Evident Podcast, where this morning we will be exploring our vocal ranges as we sing a number of hymns for you. Because this morning we are full of coffee, joy, friends, and laughter. Take it away, Mike.
Sorry. Let me try again.
Oh, man. Okay.
Is that good?
No, it's
Oh.
not. That's terrible. Guys, we are
Dang.
back. Self-Evident Podcast this morning. We got a lot to cover. We're going to get through it as fast as possible. Guys, if you have not subscribed yet, go to The Self-Evident Truth. We got our new website up, which is, it looks the same, but it's really not. It's very much more navigable. It's very much more navigable, and everything actually works this time. So our new website's up. You guys can go see our new events page, all these other things on there, and you can also become a torchbearer. Become a monthly sponsor. We need you to be. You know why? Because so we can put up with these antics. You know, like we got to do this.
We gotta
go travel.
and the back and forth.
We have to go travel. We have to go preach to people,
Yeah.
and I love to do it. We love to minister.
Yeah, we got to pay for those.
And we get to
flat
bug
tires.
you 3-4 days a week. This is great. So, guys, get on there. TheSelfEvidentTruth.com. Support our mission. We also have a $15,000 matching grant going on right now. If you guys want to help throw some dough at that, that'd be great. Once again, we got some really cool donors that said, hey, go make some money, and we want to help match it. So it was really cool for them to do that. So you guys can be a part of that.
And did you want? Blog posts. We have started the blog section of the website. So now,
Oh, yeah.
you're not just going to the website for our events or to donate. You are going to our website to read the blogs, to interact with the blogs, right? So we've got different contributors that'll be posting up stuff. It'll be a range of opinions, okay? So some of it might not necessarily be the self-evident standard line on some stuff. It might be by degrees, which is good. We want alternative thought.
We do. We want alternative thought. We want you guys to think so you're not thinking the same. You know, we do need liberty here. So, yeah, there is a principled way to think the same, but there's also an opinionated way
Right.
that you guys can think. You know, hey, maybe government should do this. Maybe government should do it this way. Maybe we shouldn't do it like this. You know, for us, you know, I wish they'd ended slavery right away, but they did a 20-year compromise. Did they end slavery? Yes. But was it wrong? Our opinion is, well, at least I'm not trying to speak
No,
for
I'm
you,
with
but
you.
our opinion is
I'm
we
with you.
should have stopped it. So, I mean, we have a lot of different opinions, but the end goal was to end slavery in these colonies, in these lands. I'm sorry, these states. So, guys, good morning. The WHO, what do we call it? The WHO, UFOs, and conspiracy theories. Guys, this is fun. Once a week, we're gonna champ your goat the once a week to talk about things I think I've had thoughts about. You probably had thoughts.
Sure.
Many of you have had thoughts
Yeah.
about. We're gonna break down scripture, maybe some commonly misfacted scriptures, or when people say there's contradictions in the Bible, we're gonna break that crap down. But we're also, like this morning, we're gonna talk about some conspiracies
Because
I want to.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's thought about it. Like for mine this morning, what we're going to talk about is, did we really land on the moon? You know, I got my opinions. I got my. I don't have anything backed by science. I don't have anything backed by. You know what I mean? I'm just like one of those guys that's always naturally skeptical of government and what they do. So I don't know. Let's see. Now, if for this, just stay plugged in. Okay, we're just having fun. We're just having
Yeah.
fun.
Don't get all in a twist if you believe this
Yeah, dude,
conspiracy
we're
or
just having
whatever,
fun.
and we're making some jokes. Just roll with us.
Yeah,
okay?
whether you believe or don't believe, that's totally cool.
It's
We're not
cool.
for you. We're
Yeah.
not against you. We just want to have fun. We want to talk about things that are a little zany, but you know, you'll always get the content on government. So let's
Although
get.
I do have a bone to pick with the flat earthers, but
Yeah, okay,
for
that's
that
it. Yeah,
episode.
and that's for that episode. We'll talk about that too, flat Earth. But this morning, we have Biden and the Who, and it's not a band.
I didn't even realize I did that with that title.
It's not a band, folks. You know what's crazy, dude? Let's just preface this with this. Now the government is actually having hearings about UFOs. Just hear me out here. The government is having hearings about UFOs, right?
They're letting all the information out now.
Yeah, the government's having discussions about foreign things. People believe. I just watched this little thing this morning. How did the dinosaurs actually die? Because I love that kind of. I love creation. You know, the
Yeah.
debate on creation evolution. I love it because I get a lot of points. You know, the video starts off with everybody knows. First,
Everybody knows.
everybody
Just
knows.
everybody.
That a meteor struck our Earth.
Of
Now,
course.
you should hear the facts. This meteor was somewhere between 7 miles wide and 50 miles wide. That's a pretty big discrepancy, right? Happened millions of years ago, which, according to modern books, was that even a thing? I think now, when dinosaurs died, it was like later. So all
originally
these,
it was like 65 million
right.
years, and then
I just want to point this out, Christian. UFOs, evolution, all this other stuff, right? And they say that you and I have a fairy tale. They were never there. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. All they have is dinosaur bones. That's all they have. They have history, how things work, but all this could have easily been done within 6,000 years and the swipe of God's finger. So I'm just saying, like, it just funny how they say we have a fairy tale, but yet they're now bringing up things they can't even see or know.
And there was something I wish I could call back what it was, but it was more of a scientific article or something, and it talked about a great flood, and it wasn't in the religious context, it wasn't in the Christian context. How long have Christians been laughed at for the idea of a big flood that flooded the earth?
And
yet now there's
many
there's
civilizations,
a scientific theory of a major flood.
Many civilizations have their own story of the flood.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just want to preface all of today with that. Government is now talking about things they don't even understand or know as fact. But they're saying you believe in a fairy tale when they have no idea about what happened at the beginning of our world. No idea how the dinosaurs died.
It's all on authority.
It's all theory,
right?
Yep.
It's all on
whenever
somebody
you
else's
hear
authority.
Whenever you hear government officials, the word government officials, all that really means is get ready for propaganda. I'm serious.
It's really where we're at. So Biden and the WHO, they are playing a new tune, and this tune is loss of your sovereignty.
The whole.
Add it to the one-hit wonders, right?
Whole.
So a lot of conservatives have been talking about this, and we had a couple of comments that had asked about it or talked about it. You guys need to talk about this. So we're going to do a quick little thing on this. Hey, we'll probably revisit it.
We're going to have a blip.
But I went through those amendments, and I read some stuff that were pulling apart the amendments. And here's what I've gathered about this. Now, if you've gathered more information, that you see something in the amendments themselves that either contradicts what I say or adds to what we say, let us know. But this is what we've come up with what the situation is, because it's very easy for, just like conspiracy theories, for people to go off the deep end on something. Now, this is very serious. I'm not trying to diminish that, but I think there's some misunderstandings of what it actually does. So here we go. The vote in question will include a vote on an amendment proposal that the Biden administration quietly submitted back in January. They submitted this to the legislative governing body, the WHA, who controls the WHO. So they determine how participating countries will function in the WHO, and they legislate according to the WHO Constitution. Did you even know they had a constitution?
No.
I didn't either, till this. So what did the Biden administration propose? It's provisional agenda item 16.2. You can find it online. Please read through it. Please pull it apart. This will be voted on in Geneva on May 22nd to 28th. Now, what does this do? In a nutshell, this would give the WHO's Director General the ability to declare health emergencies or crises in any nation. And he can even do it in the targeted nation who opposes the declaration. So if the U.S. says, we don't believe we have a world health emergency, Director General Tedros can come in and say, nope, too bad. It's a world health emergency in your own country. Any nation that does not respond within 24 hours to the WHO declaration will be considered a rejection, and the nation will be considered to act independently while the WHO shares the information with the other state parties.
I'm hearing those non-rhino Republicans and libertarians and others who actually believe in liberty go, yes, good, do what you want, because we can handle this on our own. I'm hearing every Christian who's got faith saying, fine, then we must be dependent on the Lord. You know what I mean? I'm not scared by these threats.
Yeah.
It's so funny that a man will sit there and threaten states because they don't want to do. That is throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
That's called manipulation. You better be on my team. If you don't, I'm going to go tell mom, and everyone else on this team's going to hate you. That's exactly what they're doing. If you guys can't see the gross darkness of this,
right?
but see the faith side of this. This is the Lord. I'm firmly glad, right, that this is actually happening, because again, this is revival happening in our nation. God is exposing evil. You have to see it with spiritual eyes. The fact that this is even happening right now is like, if we all couldn't see this coming, predicted, especially by scripture, because nations do this, right? Then what faith do we have? I don't put this. Literally sounds like 2020 2.0 again. This will happen. Oh my gosh, shut down your doors. You better join us. If you can't, you're not going to go to work. You're not going to go do this. And everybody's fine.
Yeah.
You know, people died, no question, because it is a virus, no question, right? But I look at it through different eyes, and we've talked about this in other podcasts. I'm not trying to go too long on this, but we've talked about this in other podcasts. Anybody who was a Christian that passed away from this virus, right, is saying to themselves, okay, this is what God ordained for me. This is my time to go.
Upgrade.
Yeah. Like I get to go be with you. Now, that to some of you, that may sound morbid, but I'm not living for this world. My treasures are not stored here. They're stored in heaven. I'm living for them. And I have to trust that if God took me out, then my wife and my kids would be protected by him, because they were given to me by him anyway.
How much more you can live abundantly when you're not weighed down by the cares and
by the cares of the world. Yeah, by a lack of faith. So if you don't join us, then this is going to happen. Okay, right. Then either God is on my side and he promised that he would be we would be the remnant. He promised that he would protect us in Goshen. He promised all these things. Well, then what am I worried about?
Yeah.
I'm good.
And I want to hit that point in a couple of minutes, because there's something that really speaks to that's also scriptural or biblical. There's examples for. So giving the power to the Director General, this was done so in a section where the U.S. in their proposed amendment removed the statement, who shall consult with and attempt to obtain verification from the state party in whose territory the event is allegedly occurring. In other words, the U.S. didn't want that statement in there, so that way you don't have to have the permission of the targeted nation. Okay? In other words, they don't need the verification. This is coupled with a statement concerning the Director General's decision, and the state party are in agreement regarding this determination. So who is Tedros? I am going to butcher this name. Here we go. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Dude, he's Mexican, he's Muslim, and Greek, all in the same name.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Don't murder me. He is the first
Ghebreyesus, right?
Ghebreyesus. He's from Ethiopia, so I don't know.
Well, he could be then Mexican,
Muslim
and Greek all in one. You know?
So he's the first non-physician Director General of WHO. He's a Marxist activist and a politician from Ethiopia with direct links to the Chinese Communist Party.
Listen, isn't that crazy? Like when they were talking about the Ministry of the disinformation, we just want to do it with someone who's not biased, who like literally attacked the right consistently in her career. Now, let's put someone in here, naturally, who's got direct links to the China Communist Party. If you don't join us, die, you know?
Right. And then the U.S. gives him more power by this amendment, which tells you, where does the Biden administration line up? Because guaranteed they know this information about him.
Of course.
They know he's a Chinese
Notice that China's the only nation not being attacked for anything.
No, he covered for him perfectly.
There's a lot of response to this constitutionally that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but I want to get through this first, and then we'll talk about.
So one last point about what this does. American Out Loud reports indicating the breadth of WHO's scope of power, the agency will be given the right to involve multiple other UN agencies, which I saw this in the amendment, including those related to food and agriculture, animal health, environmental programs, or other relevant entities. This too will not require the permission of the identified nation. The targeted nation is also required to send to WHO any relevant genetic sequence data. As we have seen, the foreword to these regulations presents a much larger array of potential collaborating agencies. So what this says basically is, even if you as a nation, USA, doesn't agree with what the WHO has decided, the WHO can use the full force of collaborating and coordinating with other nations and agencies to isolate you. Now, I've heard this gives all control of the health services over to the WHO. I didn't see that in this.
Right.
So if you know that section, go ahead and show that to me. But a nation who rejects, it wasn't saying that. It's saying they can come against you with the full force of other agencies, organizations, and nations. Now, here's where I wanted to say a biblical point to this. How often did God tell the nation of Israel, don't get mixed up in the affairs of the other nations?
Come on, dude. Thank you. He even warned about the entanglements of foreign influence. And look what happened when guys like Solomon, you know what I mean? They had all their wives and different things, other nations. Then he started to serve their gods and those kinds of things. That's why. Now, I'm going to go constitutionally because biblically that's right. You have to be careful in which you're aligning yourself with other people. This is why the darkness cannot, I'm going to restate that. The Bible's very clear about who you entangle yourself with, that we're not supposed to go be partakers of evil with those who do things. To me, this is an evil thing. This is an evil organization because they're trying to control and consolidate all power into one. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's a board of 50. You do not have arbitrary authority over all the governments and countries. You don't. So that is evil to me. You want one thing, power. You want to control. That's evil. I don't care what you say. It's evil, right? Yeah. Now, let's go to Section 2, Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. Just going to show you some things that the president has the authority to do under the advisement and the congruency of Congress, okay? The president shall be commander-in-chief of the armies, paragraph 2. He shall have power, and by advice and consent to Senate, to make treaties, provide 2/3 of the senators present concur. He shall nominate, with advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers, consuls, judges, Supreme Court, and other officers of the United States, whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided. He shall make treaties. That's all it says. Provided 2/3 of the Congress is present. That's all it says. That's literally all it says. Now, I'm going to go down to Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and the application of legislature or the executive when the legislator cannot convene against domestic violence. Okay, it shall protect against invasion and a semicolon. So it separates out against invasion of who? Against invasion of who? But then the semicolon stops the whole and starts a whole new sentence. An application of legislature against domestic violence, right? I just want you guys to hear this. It said he can do treaties. Where in there did he say he can give up the sovereignty of the United States to any organization or entity? Where in there did it say the president has the authority to sell out our Constitution? Where in there does it say that the states can now get out of their republican form of government and submit themselves to a higher government? Where does it say that?
Right.
Matter of fact, Article 4, Section 4 says that the United States shall guarantee to each state a republican form of government, which means a representative government, which means that they vote, which means that they have their own values. These states have their own governments and state. How many of the states, the 50 states, said, yeah, let's get into an alliance with the WHO?
And to take that one step further, you notice that restriction on protecting from invasion, that could include even alliances that allow invasion.
Yes,
right?
Now,
because then you're contradicting, if your treaty allows any type of movement into your country that takes control, that's considered invasion. So this is a contradiction of the Constitution.
Can I back that up?
Duties. Go for it.
George Washington, in his farewell address after his 2 terms, listen to specifically what he wrote. Now, this dude was involved in all this, right? The Declaration, all these other things, right? I believe in many ways his influence was in the Constitutional Convention, right? Yeah. All those things, Madison, all these guys, they have their own writings. Now, watch this. If we left a foreign nation for what it was doing to control the United States of America at the time, the United Colonies, right? If we left a government who was trying to get arbitrary authority over these states, why in the heck would we entangle ourselves again? Why wouldn't they write provisions? They did. So this is his farewell address. Listen closely. Against the insidious wiles of foreign influence. Listen. Against the insidious wiles of foreign influence, I conjure you to believe me, fellow citizens. The jealousy of a free people ought to be constantly awake. The jealousy of a free people ought to be constantly awake. We should be jealous if we try to go and align ourselves with foreign influence. Right. Dangerous foreign influence, too. Since history and experience prove that foreign influence is one of the most baneful foes of a republican government. But the jealousy should be useful to be impartial, else it becomes instrumental of the very influence to be avoided instead of a defense against it. Excessive partiality for one foreign nation and excessive dislike of another cause those whom they actuate to see danger only on one side. He's warning us of tribalism. He's warning us of Ukraine-Russia situation. You have favoritism towards one, not favoritism, and then it starts to divide us. Listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
Be impartial in how we do this, right? It says this, and serve to veil even second arts of influence on the other. Real patriots who may resist the intrigues of the favorite are liable to become suspected and odious, while its tools and dupes usurp and the applause and confidence of the people to surrender their interests. In other words, those who come against it, says this, real patriots who may resist this become suspected and odious. Oh, man.
Talk about prophecy.
Dude, straight up. We should put this in the book.
Oh, good
Straight
call.
up. He was warning us in his farewell address of what would happen if we align ourselves. And you who would stand up, you'd become odious in people's eyes.
Go figure.
Listen to this. Now, this is their writings, not ours, right? I'm just going to read one more thing so we can put this thing to the Bill of Rights, not the Constitution, not the Bill of Rights has a preamble. We never talk about it. I don't know why we don't talk about it. But the Bill of Rights, my rights guaranteed by God, the first 10 written, right, has a preamble. Listen closely to what this preamble says. The Constitution of a number of the states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution, expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers. They adopted the Constitution and did this Bill of Rights in order to prevent its misuse of powers. And further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. And as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of this institution. What it's saying here is we wrote this Bill of Rights so that the government could not destroy it. Right. I have my rights. They don't have the right to sell out me and my family and my government, my country. We don't have the right to go out there as a nation. Show me constitutionally where they have the authority to align not with a government, but with an organization and sell out our constitution. They don't. And I'm telling you, this is why it's important for us to continue to stand. People are going to be like, what do we do? I'd be on the phone calling constantly, which is what we do. I'd be on the phone calling constantly our senators and representatives. I'm telling you, if we're not praying right now, I do pray for the president. I do. I pray that somehow God wakes him up to the Spirit of God, that, Lord, if you turn Pharaoh's heart 10 times, you can certainly turn President Biden's. But if not, Lord, get the wicked ruler out. We need to vote him out. We need to get him out. Mm-hmm. Get the wickedness out of our nation. We don't have time to pussyfoot around this anymore. We just don't, right? I see great days ahead. I do. I see where God is protecting his kids. I see where there's hope right now to have. To me, evil being exposed is hope to me that God is hearing our prayers. I really firmly believe that. But I don't believe that this is going to go easy. No. I never have believed that, neither of you.
And I think it's one of those things that this is a big boulder in our way. And the U.S., even in the amendment, changed the time of rejection from 18 months down to 6 months. Well, guess when that 6 months ends after this vote? November, right? So kind of a naked play, right? What I'm hearing is this gives up American sovereignty. They're now, if we agree with everything the WHO says, in a way, yes, we've given up our sovereignty, but we can reject. We as a nation can still reject what the Director General says, what the WHO says. We don't have to abide by that treaty.
No, we don't.
We have to have leaders in office that are willing to not abide by that treaty. Now, the squeeze comes in the fact that you could be isolated as a nation. Honestly, as a Christian, as I read scripture, it's like, okay.
It's almost like a perfect setup by the Lord.
It's like God is the one who will maintain us. Y'all will fall while God maintains us.
It's almost like he will teach us to be dependent on him. He will.
Yeah.
By our own backslidings, by our own stupidities, right? If y'all don't believe that righteousness is happening, I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again. Righteousness is happening right now. The kingdom of God is appearing right now. You have to really flip your paradigm on this. People look at this and go, oh my gosh, the United States is about to go blah, right? I'm saying how wonderful God is to show us this, and that he's saying, this is what happens. You've now walked in your mire. You've backslid. You've done this, right? Now you'll become only dependent on me. I'm telling you, I have hope in that, that this is what we've been asking for. Okay. This is something Christians have been asking for, and God will protect he'll protect his kids. I'm not saying we're going to go through it easy. I'm saying he will be your rear guard. I'm saying he will provide for you. I'm saying he'll be there with you. I'm saying he'll be with your children. And when we did that thing on hope last week, I wish I could have played more. But there's this whole thing on hope we do, that God has not stopped you from being called to what you're called to. Just because this is happening right now does not give you the excuse to stop what God's being called you to. If you're supposed to be a parent and a mom and a dad, then you go do that thing. If you're supposed to you go do that thing. God has not told you to stop yet. That's not even scriptural. So now's not the time to lose hope. Now's the time to just get enacted. We all see it, right? Even if the United States says yes, the church has been under this 501c3 darkness for years, and now churches are rejecting it. That's exactly what has to happen in the United States. Yep. We've been under this mess for years. Now it's time for us to reject it. And even if we sign a stupid treaty, I'm not abiding by it.
Yeah, we don't have to. Our government doesn't abide by the Constitution. We don't have to abide by those treaties.
Just like Scripture says, where sin abounds, grace does much more abound. Where sin is huge and it's dark and it's so grace much more, the power of God. So we don't have to abide by this. We don't have to obey this stuff. Now, hope you got some answers.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it again, right? Time to.
Where's our tin hats?
We should have made tin hats. Let's get into a little segment, a new segment that we call Conspiracy Vault.
Yeah, it's a Weirdo Wednesday. And this was actually my idea. Mike handles all of our podcasts. And
we have the stinger.
What?
We have the stinger.
What?
The intro.
Oh, sorry. We have an intro. Well, that was nice.
They're already screwing with us. They're shutting us down.
The black helicopters are flying over us right now.
All right, Matt. So what were you saying?
So this was my idea. This was I wanted something fun to do.
All credit for Matt.
No, not at all. I was saying if you hate this, it's my idea. Mike actually handles all the podcasting, and I was like, dude, it'd be kind of fun to just go after questions people have, and there are people who delve into this and get into the fear side. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting to the fear side. It's just, man, these are questions, like, hey, they're just questions. Have you guys ever thought about this? I don't believe in fear. And if you feel fear, that's not of the Lord. So ask God to put joy in your heart. When I'm talking about this stuff, I'm like, this is just fun to me. I was caught up in conspiracies for years. This is my little short story. In 2001, I got saved. Up until about 2006 or 7-ish, 2005, 2006. I was caught in these conspiracies and like all this stuff, Bohemian Grove, all these other things. And then one day I found myself locking the windows and I said, Lord, you don't abide in the spirit. This is not cool. So I quickly rejected. And I was like, Lord, all that was a rabbit hole. Now, why are we talking about this? Because I want to have fun. I just want to ask questions. Yeah. I just like to think, you know what I mean? I'm not a drone. I don't just believe what people tell me. So I just want to say, we're going to explore a little bit. So.
Yeah. So Wikipedia, the most trusted name in news facts.
Yeah, the one that still can't be used in college courses for homework.
They said that an early and influential book about the subject of the moon landing, We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion Swindle, was self-published in 1976 by Bill Casing, former U.S. Navy officer with Bachelor Arts in English. So now Casing supposedly doesn't have any knowledge of rockets or technical writing, and he was hired as a senior technical writer by Rocketdyne, the company that built the F1 engines. So this guy wrote a book basically saying, the percent chance of a successful crewed landing on the moon was calculated to be 0.0017%. And that despite close monitoring by the USSR, it would have been easier for NASA to fake the moon landings than really go there.
That's what really made me question this whole thing, was how fast Russia was. That we're in a race with Russia, right? And our nation at the time was kind of like hurt by the Bay. I think it was like the Bay of Pigs. I think was going on at the time.
Yeah,
if I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
so.
All this stuff was going on under Kennedy's presidency, which to me, the Kennedys, I've studied them a lot. Some of you may have your opinion. I thought they were really good representatives of the United States. Morally, they weren't.
No.
Well, at least John. Some say Robert was in that. I don't believe it. The studies I've done, I don't believe it. But nonetheless, all of a sudden, it's like a rush to get up to the moon.
Yeah.
So let's go do this. I think that's when I started to first question it. We weren't even close to getting this stuff done. All of a sudden, bam, we just had the technology. So my view on the moon landing is I don't think we did. I think we have been now, but like I don't think we did at that time. I don't.
So you think maybe the first one wasn't legit,
Right.
but maybe the other ones were?
Yeah.
And I think we're the only nation to have landed on the moon, a manned spacecraft. And we should have a mic for Elijah right now because Elijah's a
right here.
space nut. Grab that mic, Elijah. And if you got something to pop in, you let us know, all right?
Our producer shall be part of the show.
He believes that America made it, right? Am I right that no other nation has landed a manned landing?
To my knowledge, I know that Russia technically won the space race because they got the space first, but we beat them to the moon.
And nobody's ever been there besides us.
Right.
How do you answer that, Mr. NASA believer?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He's got
You got
nothing.
Nothing.
Right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of caught me.
Well, I think too, just one of the reasons I wanted to like talk about these things is it shows you governments are supposed to be built on trust. You know what I mean? That you can, but from a long time ago already, it's like they've just developed a mistrust. You know, people don't really believe some of these things, and I certainly don't. You know, but again, I could be proven way wrong, and I'm open to that. If you haven't realized that yet, I'm open to correction. I'm open to people telling me, and please comment below. Guys, I hope you're laughing and having fun right now because inside I am. This is supposed to be fun and jovial,
Yeah.
and just have fun with it, guys.
Place your comments. Do you believe that the moon landing was real or a hoax? Place your comments now.
We're just having fun, man. I'm not dogmatic on this.
I wish we could set up a poll to see what.
Right.
people thought.
We're not dogmatic on this. We're
No.
just talking.
No.
We're just having fun.
So no stars in the pictures, right? Must have been a warehouse.
I said that. Like, there's no stars in the pictures. If we could see them from the Earth, how come we can't see them from the moon?
So the response to this is the obviously dumb logical response. The astronauts were talking about naked eye sightings of stars during the lunar daytime. They regularly sighted stars through the spacecraft navigation optics while lying there in inertial reference platforms. Now, stars are rarely seen in space shuttle, mirror, Earth observation photos, or even photos taken at sporting events held at night. The light from the sun in outer space in the Earth-Moon system is at least as bright as the sunlight that reaches the Earth's surface on a clear day at noon. Now, they had to land on the moon on the sunny side. So what this is saying is they were actually on the moon on the sunny side, so you wouldn't see stars because the light was drowning out starlight. Do you believe, sir? Elijah?
That's a decent. I understand that. Like, it's obvious we can't see stars now during the daytime, right? But go ahead.
So, just a couple of days ago, there was a lunar eclipse, and I went to go take pictures of it. And when I was looking through the pictures, I noticed I would get faint little speckles of the stars because I had to hold my phone like up pointed to the sky. Wow, for like 5 seconds in order for the camera to get enough light. My answer to that would be that the cameras, because they had to be such a different, what's the right word? They had to be a different structure from what they had on Earth, so that it could survive in space. It didn't have the necessary iOS or shutter speed in order to record and capture those lights.
Let me ask you a question. That's a great theory. How would you know that if you ain't never been up there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, oh, they need a different camera. How the heck would you know that? You ain't been up there? You don't know what the atmosphere's doing?
But
Does it even have an atmosphere?
Here's a question. If you're going to do it in a warehouse, and you've put all this time and effort into building the moon setting, wouldn't you build the star backdrop too? Wouldn't you?
That's where my theory falls apart, right? Because like if they would have left themselves unopen-ended, right?
Yeah.
So okay, I get that too. I do. I get.
I'm just asking.
I know. I'm just
asking questions.
That's a good. See, I don't mind being corrected. By the way, I have not looked at these notes, and I purposely I didn't. I
Really?
purposely did not because I want to be blown away in this pie. I want to be told you're an idiot.
I mean,
Believe it.
I could tell you that. I don't know if
What a
it
jerk.
has reference
Man,
to
shut up.
this, but
Shut up.
all right.
Some Christian.
Deep dark shadows. So the argument goes, the next evidence also involves pictures. In all the pictures taken by the astronauts, the shadows are not black. Objects in shadow can be seen, sometimes fairly clearly, including a plaque on the side of the lander that can be read easily. If the sun is the only source of light on the moon, the deniers say, there is no air to scatter the light, shadows should be utterly black. The response to this is, they give you the answer in the claim itself. If the sun is the only source of light, it isn't. Initially, the thought was the Earth was bright enough to fill in the shadows, but subsequently it was realized that that cannot be the case. The Earth is a fraction of the brightness of the sun, not nearly enough to fill in the shadows. So what is that other light source? The moon itself. So the lunar dust has a peculiar property. It tends to reflect light back in the direction from where it came. So if you were to stand on the moon and shine a flashlight at the surface, you would see a very bright spot where the light hits the ground. But oddly, someone standing a bit to the side would hardly see it at all. The light is preferentially reflected back toward the flashlight, and therefore you are not the person on the side. Kind of makes sense to me. I hadn't heard the deep dark shadow argument.
Oh. Well,
we good on that one?
I mean, I'm good. First off, I had no idea where he was on those notes. I was like, where the heck are we here? I'm trying to read this, but I agree. I think too much light you can't see. Duh. That's a given, right? Just me, right? There's a lot of dark and shadows around there too. So couldn't they just navigate their little butts a little bit more towards where the light wasn't? I don't know.
No, I'm just asking questions.
The idea to go to the moon. One day, somebody woke up, looked at the moon, and said, "I want to stand on that. I want to make it so that mankind is standing on that." Obviously, this isn't something that we just like pulled out of our back pocket and decided to play in this whole like game that we were playing back in the
60s. Yeah, 69 was the lunar landing.
There had to have been so much preparation for this. They
or a lot of construction in the warehouse.
How do you explain the launching of the rocket? Because Neil Armstrong still came back.
Well, that's jet propulsion, you know, not jet propulsion, but
so he orbits a couple of days,
yeah.
And then he goes back.
No one's denying that that NASA's orbited. You know what I mean?
Right, but to say that we have the technology to go up into space and orbit for a couple of days and then come back, wouldn't you be able to say we have the same technology to land on the moon?
All right.
And then come back?
All right. Now I'm in this.
Let's do it.
I want you to shoot a bullet at something going 174,000 miles per hour. Go ahead. I'll wait.
There's a
It's called the railgun.
and dude, the technology at the time, yeah, you could orbit, but to specifically land on the moon, right? To have all your stuff set up to make sure. And dude, that was a successful return. How many times have we not successfully tried to go up and come back since then? That first shot, I mean, they just we're doing this. We're gonna hop. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a little. I'm just saying. I don't know.
We saw failure in the Apollo 13. I don't think they would have faked the moon landing to try to do it again with full confidence to just have the entire.
All right.
Yeah, but maybe they knew they needed to do it because they were getting late on time, And so they're like, well, we'll fake this one while we're prepping for the next one.
You know,
So that way
like-
we can claim against, Russia. We won the space war.
And then if they did fail and something blew up or something malfunctioned on like an Apollo 13, they could say, hey,
well,
look,
made it
man,
once.
we just technical difficulties, crap happens, you know. We've already done it, you know, technical difficulties. I don't know. What say you? Comment down below. Does this have anything to do with Jesus? No. But
read the next one.
what is it? Footage?
Let's do slow motion.
Footage in slow motion. Is that right here?
Yeah.
All right. Bad. Here's the bad. When the movies of the astronauts walking and driving in the lunar rover are doubled in speed, they look like they just were filmed on the Earth, slowed down. This is clearly how movies were faked. But good. Here's the good side. This was the first new bit I've seen from the from the HBs. What the heck is that? And it's funny. To me, even when sped up, the images didn't look like they were filmed on Earth's gravity. The astronauts were sliding down a slope, and they looked weird to me. Not at all like they would on the Earth. I will admit that if wires were used, the astronauts' gait couldn't be simulated. In other words, if this was truly studio led or studio played, even if we could speed things up, there's no way that they could have edited it the proper way. I'm gonna go with this. If you look at the lighting placement of everything too, it just looked too good.
It looks like there is as if a massive ball of light in the sky.
Yeah, similar to a giant light sitting in a studio projecting.
Okay, but you could say that. Okay.
Fight me, man. Fight me.
Any dark space, I can turn all the lights off in here and turn my flashlight on, and that'll be the sun. We can do a movie.
No.
We can put it right.
You have to remember, dude, they had lighting like really good back in the day too for movies. You know what I mean? They had like really heavy lights.
69.
So yeah,
69.
yeah, dude. They had dude, theater productions are no joke. That was like fully lit. You know, they had to have a ton of lights for that stuff. You know, the theaters. So yeah, we had access to like heavy lights. Matter of fact, those lights would get so hot you would burn yourself heavily too because those lights were so hot because they emitted so much energy. That's why the technology and LEDs and stuff is like crazy. Like these lights here, they're all LED, but they barely consume any energy, right? But they're so bright, you know. So I don't know. I'm saying I get where this is going too with the whole. I thought the same thing. But I do get too. It's like that'd be very hard to fake in a studio. Yeah. The way that was, you know what I mean. So again, I could be wrong.
And to the gravity section of it, yeah, like jumping up and landing, like I don't know. It's even in slow mo, like it wouldn't look right. Let's jump to the waving flag. I think that's a big one.
Ooh.
So the waving flag, this theory, you notice the theory is basically, oh, well, the flag's waving or the flag has ripples in it. So therefore there must be air currents, which would mean that it would be on Earth because there's no air on the moon. Now the response of the government, of the establishment, you know, because they're trustworthy, the flag was fastened to a T-shaped rod so that it did not hang down. The flag only seemed to flutter when the astronauts were moving it into position. Without air drag, these movements caused the free corner of the flag to swing like a pendulum for some time. The flag was rippled because it had been folded during storage. The ripples could be mistaken for movement in a still photo. Videos show that when the astronauts let go of the flagpole, it vibrates briefly but then remains still. I think that's all crap.
Well, have we had a recent picture of the flag on the moon?
That's what yes, I think so because I think it fell down or something. I think there's photos of it like it.
How does it fall
down.
If there's no gravity?
I think it was the argument is the blast. Yes, it does. Go ahead and pull it up. The argument is that the blast of the lunar taking off knocked it over. Which my question is, dun, 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 the blast of the lunar, if there's no air for particles and waves to travel, how would that knock over the flag? I think we found our smoking gun, guys. This is what they did. They shot a flag at the moon.
You know, every video, every research paper I've read is now every argument that they use to counteract the fake moon landing. They can't cover it.
They can't. They have no response.
They took a massive potato cannon and
I just imagine the scientists like standing outside in Florida going, did we build it big enough? I think so. All right, John, let's light this candle.
Okay. Oh man,
I'm so glad we're doing this.
Oh, this is fun. This is fun to me.
Let's jump to.
Isn't that in Star Wars, right?
Sure. Yeah.
See,
Ended with the entire planet being blown up.
I'm sure they probably had discussions about that in the office, right? You can go ahead and take the slide off. I just realized that still popped up. I'm sure they had discussions about that in the office, you know. But what if we destroy the moon with this, guys? It's a risk we're willing to take, I guess.
We still beat Russia.
Yeah. We may have doomed Earth, but we beat Russia.
Oh gosh.
Let's go to this is the last one on the last page. And if you guys see anything you want to cover, let me know. We've got like dust around the lander, no flames from the lander, non-parallel, deadly radiation.
The video of the first steps.
That's the one I want. The
Okay.
video itself of the first
last
steps.
point because we got to go
Yeah, we
to.
gotta go work.
Yeah, we have to.
So the video is grainy, and the video seems to have been shot from an independent location on the moon's surface. What say you, Elijah?
On the moon's surface.
Hoax believer.
You're telling me they recorded videos of the moon landing on the moon's surface?
Yeah. See, I think we've got him. I think he's now on our side.
Well, I would hope it would be on the moon's surface.
See, just when I thought he was redeemable.
He's
Oh,
not.
look.
He's not believing.
No, obviously he's not. Even though I want you to tell me the name of that cameraman. What's his name, Elijah?
Be a pretty famous cameraman.
Yeah.
I'd be using him in Hollywood.
He's the one who took the first step, stolen by Neil Armstrong. Neil's all like, one small step for me.
Wait, my camera guy had to go over there and
Yeah.
actually set up the camera.
Is this the first picture ever taken on the moon? I wanna know.
No.
Okay. So
And
Yes.
someone had to open that door and get off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was the
right?
cameraman. Bob has been cut out of history.
Bob!
Bob, the cameraman. I want us all to hold a moment of silence for Bob, the cameraman on the moon landing. Sir, we thank you for
Bob.
your sacrifice and honor.
Bob, we got you. Mad respect.
So here's the ridiculous response.
This is so fun. I love this crap.
I think we're going to change the avenue of the podcast. We're just going to do
This is-
conspiracy
this
theories.
is fun.
So here's the response. Cameras on the lunar module actually caught the first step.
Perfectly
Right.
positioned.
Perfectly positioned.
Perfectly positioned. After going through an atmosphere, landing, nothing jarred. Nothing jarred.
It worked perfectly.
Worked, but just
It's supposed to send that signal
yep.
millions
perfectly.
of miles back to the Earth.
Because they know that a camera like that can withstand that kind of atmospheric trajectory. Going through the atmosphere, all that temperature, all that.
Now here's what the crazies say. Is that it was inside
I got a feeling we
It's-
might be crazy, but
inside the lunar lander module, and Armstrong had to like pull a cord or switch or something, and it flipped out, and it was perfectly positioned to shoot his steps down the ladder. I think it's Bob. I think Bob got screwed.
dude, Bob got hosed on this one.
What if they left him there so he wouldn't tell the story? He was in his desperation of knowing he's about to die. He knocks over the flag, mad at his own country who left him on the moon. Bob, if you're out there, we salute you.
He's like, I'm gonna say my name in reverse. Bob.
I'm gonna say my name upside down.
Bob.
Bob.
All right. What does this all say? You just wasted 20 minutes of your life
All
listening
right.
to some conspiracy theories that we don't even know.
Just so you
Check-
guys know, there was no one named Bob on the Apollo 11 crew.
That you know, because they knew they had to get
They had to
of
get rid of
loose
Bob.
ends. He was the loose end. No guy who is the actual first one to step on the moon and record the hoax jerk who supposedly was first. No guy would come back and keep his mouth shut.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Yeah. Bob was there the whole time.
So, guys,
What say you?
the
Have we
first-
convinced you that the moon landing did? I was coming in like, I think it happened. I'm out of this. Like, nah, there's
yeah,
no
dude.
way it happened.
Okay, look, we all
No.
have our questions. You got to do your homework. If that's your thing, you know what I mean? Do you? We might even talk about. Actually, I don't know what we're going to talk about. But these are kind of fun.
These are fun.
So the first 15 minutes of this podcast really good. You should probably pay attention. The last 25,
take it or leave it.
that's your discretion. I'm sure we're gonna get comments from preachers like, "What does this have to do with scripture?" It doesn't. We're having fun. Okay, we're having fun. We're having fun, and I don't like liars. So if they're lying to us, I want to expose liars.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
and
saying.
obviously they lied to us about Bob. I want to start
Bob!
a whole meme,
Poor Bob,
meme myth.
Bobby.
You know that meme where the astronaut has the gun to the back of the head of the other astronaut?
Yeah.
That was based on the true story of Bob.
Yeah.
You're staying here, Bob.
How is that cup going in and out of your screen? Oh, come on, man, you screwed it up. It's all by itself. It's a gravity floater 2000 that are NASA governments. No, if you flip it to me, how's it happening? How's that happening? Oh, Bob. Anyways, guys, we love you. Thank you for tuning into Self-Evident, theselfevidenttruth.com. If you guys want to find out more about what we do for kids, for public, right? We go speak on constitutional issues and granting that the people have sovereignty. They have rights given to us by God. They're unalienable. They're unalterable. They cannot be transferred. That's why we have this. But this one today, we have no idea why we did it, but it's fun because we're having fun. Because we like having fun. We like laughter and joy.
Yes.
I like having fun.
and I like that we're headed down this path.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
fun.
bit.
It's fun.
Uh,
So
put in the comments the other conspiracy theories you want
wanna
us
hear
to
about.
debunk or confirm. Tell us which way you would want us to go, because we can do either.
we cannot further expound on Bob because there's nothing left of him.
No.
There's nothing on Bob. Bob! ¿Por qué?
¿Por qué?
Anyways, we love you guys. Check out every platform we got. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Or, sorry. We'll see you Saturday. Saturday. One of those 2 days. We're going to see you. Love you.
Love you guys.
Come on.
There you go.
That was good. That was fun. Elijah.